Good news, everyone!
It's Jake Ciely.
And there's a surprise in your cereal box. I'm great! Everybody else sucks! Let's get dangerous.
Yes, sir, random kid I just met.
It's time to check the list.
Oh, wait, you're serious? Let me laugh even harder.
You know what? You just made the list!
Hooray! People are paying attention to me.
It's all in football.
Sure, we talk about it all the time.
Really?
No, burn.
What is up, you ducks? It is All in Football on FTN, and we are talking playoffs, but we're also talking way too early 2024 rankings, because that's what we do. We never stop talking football or rankings and argue about it. Right, Meaney? Right? We're going to tell you how yours are wrong and mine are right this time. We already alluded to your rankings previously in conversations we've had about eliminated teams, which we'll talk a little bit about that before we get into the ranks for today. Including, hey, look, you might get Cliff Kingsbury back for your Eagles to fix everything, because your offense and your defense fell apart at the end, just like the shitty New York Rangers. Anyway, just had to throw that out there and curse live on, because that's how mad I am about these fools losing. 30 losses! You give up 2 goals in an overtime with like 5 minutes to go because you suck, Igor. Sorry.
It's still winning hockey games, though. Like, must be nice. I've been first place in the Metro and still have reason to complain.
First time this year, they have over half as losses as they have wins. Do you get what I'm saying? So they're 29-15. To this point, they had at least had double the wins of losses all to this point, because Igor should not be in net anymore. Just fire that dude into the sun. I'm done. I'm done, Meaney.
It's been a rough go for him. I don't know what the heck's going on, but listen. You're complaining about arguably the best team in the NHL. So
they're not the best team in the NFL. Not if Igor's in net.
Yeah, maybe not. But hey, well, it's still nice to be a Rangers
Lauren's
fan.
like, whatever, hockey's stupid. Anyway,
I disagree. I love hockey. I'm just not
big
pleased
Blues
with
win
the Blues.
last night.
Yeah, finally.
But rough go. Hey, like our team stink, and Jake's is up near the top, and he's only got one thing to complain about.
Hey, sounds like an
one?
Eagles fan.
One?
Yeah,
They
just
lost
lots
to
of
the
things
Blues like
complain about with the
5-1
Eagles.
or something a few weeks ago. Like, they can't beat anybody.
I have my
All of a
little
sudden.
Stanley Cup trophy right there from, glory days.
Nice.
Or Gloria days, should I say.
We are
No, I
talking
love
fantasy
hockey.
football.
yeah.
People didn't tune
nice
into the wrong
touch.
show. This isn't Dangle Bets and Selly. I got it right, Meaney. Look at that.
Ooh.
You did.
Did I get?
Yeah.
I did. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Look, 3 wins in their last 10 games. That's all you need to know. They're not doing anything right. Anyway. We were
Interesting.
talking football, not hockey. Dumb Rangers. Anyway, I want my Stanley Cup bet back. We were going to talk eliminated playoff teams, just like probably the Rangers will be eliminated playoff team when things come around, because they can't win. Texans, Packers, Bucks, Bills. We get right into that. Couldn't get any better. I mean, I guess it could have, but it couldn't get any better, mostly for the first year of my Texans and CJ Stroud and what they were able to do. But now we head into next year, and there's only really one question here. Like, we know Nico Collins had his breakthrough season. There's going to be excitement for Tank Dell. Maybe they add a wide receiver, which complicates things in next year. CJ Stroud is going to be in the QB1 conversation. But the big one, Meaney, did we see enough from Devin Singletary to say he's a solid RB2 next year? Because everybody, including myself, was on Dameon Pierce as the RB2. There were some bold predictions out there. I was like, yeah, I can see a bold prediction saying he's actually in the RB1 conversation just because of volume. But that didn't happen. And maybe this would be a different conversation. The reason I bring this up is because he was the lead, and we saw the one game where Singletary got mixed in. We got frustrated, like, what the hell happened this week? And then Dameon Pierce got hurt. And when he got hurt, that was all out the window. It was Singletary for the rest of the season since then. There was like a little sprinkle in there with Pierce, but that was about it. Is there enough for you to say that Singletary is an RB2 next year as things stand, or is this a trap? I know Lauren might actually sing.
I feel like it may be a trap. I don't know like what happened to Pierce. I was on board with Pierce as well. I thought he'd be, an interesting target in the 6th round as like your RB2. Had such a really nice rookie campaign, and everything went through him. And I just didn't really fully believe that we were ever going to see Singletary just eat up all kinds of touches, and he did. I mean, just looking at the game log, it's shocking to see back-to-back weeks with 52 total carries. And had another game down the stretch of the season, week 15, with 26 carries, hit the century mark 3 times down the stretch, and it was catching balls out of the backfield. Pierce just didn't really touch the field at all. I don't know if it was the injury held him back, and maybe D'Amico Ryans wanted to go with a more experienced running back. I'm not really sure, but I don't think that I'm going to feel comfortable with Singletary as my RB2. If I can, maybe we'll see what happens. Of course, maybe they bring somebody in. He's just going to be a flex for me. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think what we saw from him down the stretch is like a best case scenario. I don't know if
we've seen it before, Lauren. We saw it with the Bills once the injuries happened over there, and there was that 5 weeks towards the end of the season where 15, 20 points were every single week in that offense. So, Lauren, are you going to sing for us, or are you going to actually get on the board with Singletary?
Oh, absolutely not. Don't go chasing Devin Singletary. Come on. I'm sorry, but I'm very sick, if you can't tell, so that was not my best work. But no, absolutely not. He is flex at best. And I'm not on board. If you look at where they finished in half PPR scoring, the first screen I had up here was Fantasy Pros. He finished with 139.3 points over 7 weeks. That was a big drop off because just above him is Austin Eckler at 151.5. So that's a 12-point difference between RB29 and RB30. So if things happen just a little differently, I mean, he still finished as an RB30, and this was a good season for him. No, I'm not going anywhere near Devin Singletary. No, thank you.
Well, then, let's see if you'll go anywhere near some of the other players that were eliminated, including Rachaad White. I'll go to you first on this one. So there's a lot going on with the Bucs right now. Baker Mayfield, free agent. Mike Evans, free agent. Half the team, free agent. Actually, if you saw the list, it legitimately is like half their starters are free agents next year. But all that being said, the Evans-Godwin situation, passing game is going to be a big one. But Rachaad White was one that we talked about a lot during the preseason. We said there's a reason he's not an RB1 because the likelihood of a bottom 5 offense producing an RB1 is almost nil. Now, this wasn't a bottom 5 offense, but as of today, we don't know a lot about the passing and the offense as a whole. But we do know Rachaad White was a bell cow. Lauren, was this a one-year bell cow, or was there enough from Rachaad White to say, you know what, it doesn't matter if it's Baker, it doesn't matter if it's somebody else at quarterback. He is the lead. This is the lead running back, because I kind of think that this comes into the Devin Singletary conversation. Like, was this just a flash? Was just a situation that fell in his lap because they had nobody? Chase Edmonds at the end of his career, and I know he's not that old, but for all intents and purposes, the end of his career. Sean Tucker never became a thing. They just really didn't have options. So was this kind of like force their hand, or you think he's good enough to be the guy?
I think he's good enough to be the guy. I am on board with Rachaad White. I really liked his usage. Unless they pick up someone in free agency or the offseason, I'm going to give this backfield to Rachaad White. He finished just fantastic. Struggled a little bit on a few weeks, but other than that, we had solid double-digit fantasy points. We did see good ceiling performances from him, which I really liked as well. And even some of his mid-range gains, like week 7, 12.9, week 8, 14.4. Those are horrible numbers. I don't know if I would draft him as an RB1, but I would love to have him as a solid high upside RB2. So we'll see how he goes in drafts. I think he might be getting a little expensive for my taste, but I am on board with his usage from what we saw this season.
So we're only talking top 15 when we get to way too early ranks, Meaney. Let's just talk running back. Is Rachaad White top 15?
Yeah, I have him as a top 15 guy way too early. Again, things are going to change. Some bodies may move around in the draft, but I don't think that they'll be after another running back. I think they're pretty impressed with him. But having said that, this is a team that finished dead last in rushing in each of the past 2 years. So he hasn't been super efficient, but the touches are there. The volume is there, like Lauren said. Another big performance through the air. Like, that's what you're getting from him when he struggles to run between the tackles. I mean, last year had 50 catches as a rookie, and he split the backfield with Fournette. And then this year, 64 grabs. I mean, 3 behind CMC. So you bring up Baker and Evans, and even Canales as the OC has taken kind of head coaching interviews elsewhere. So they could lose. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't feel too great if they lost Evans and even Baker. Like, Baker was great this year for them. They moved the ball down the field. That's very important to me. You need to have a running back. You mentioned not bottom 5, bottom 10, kind of in the middle of the pack. Like, I'm not interested in a running back that's going to play in a bottom 3 offense with no offensive line that can't run the football. I'm not just going to bank on, hopefully he catches 7 passes a game, and he's okay. But Yeah, I think top 15 running back at this moment for sure. Like, and if he goes outside of that, then everyone's disrespecting him again, and he's going to be a great RB2 for you.
Well, RB2 is what you said, because so over at The Athletic, I have my projections look back column. This week is running backs and tight ends. Last week was quarterbacks and wide receivers. And Rashad White was a hit, only missed by 30 fantasy points, which, I mean, isn't that much when you consider that's barely over 10% of a difference. But the biggest thing is the yards projected. I had him at like 1450. He actually, or 1350. He actually hit 1450, right around. Evening out there. Touchdowns were almost exactly the same, but the biggest thing is something that Lauren said, and then you kind of touched on it briefly. I mean, the volume was offset because the efficiency wasn't there. Like, he actually got more touches by quite a bit than what the projections had. The projections had him for a much more efficient season, and that wasn't the thing. So if they don't add anybody else and the offense is just what it is, we can still say, you know what, maybe that's worst case, because if you're going to get 300 something touches, I mean, maybe it gets a little bit better for you. Just like things might get a little bit better for Jay Felicio in the chat. I know you have the same joke every single time you show up and hate UNC, but I can understand when Duke sucks this year and it's just middle of the pack, and UNC is actually inside the top 5. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry you feel butthurt. So anyway, continuing as the other two eliminated teams.
Feel it, Jay. Feel it.
Yeah, the Packers or the Bills. Where do you want to go, Meaney?
Bills.
All right, let's talk Bills, and we'll talk. See, there you go. I'll talk James Cook. You know, I wasn't on James Cook. A lot of people were, and be like, "Oh my God, these touches, top 15." Maybe we talked about Devin Singletary before. Like, the volume could be all there. What's the difference? Who's going to be behind him? Well, the answer was it didn't matter what jabroni was behind him. They got involved because it's the Bills. And the biggest issue about the Bills continues to be Josh Allen running for a touchdown. Josh Allen running for a touchdown week in and week out, almost every single week. So you take that away, and sure, if you told me James Cook would get 17-plus touches, which he did for a little brief amount of time in there, and then things went sideways again. They went back to 12. Dawson Knox got healthy. Stephon Diggs wasn't a thing this year, but specifically, we'll get to Diggs in a second. James Cook, RB2, or could it, as I suggest all of this potentially, Meaney, could it actually get worse next year? Like, is this like, hey, this is fine. I'll take James Cook as my RB2. I know he'll get some 20-point weeks where I'll be like, wow, this is amazing to have James Cook. I know I'm going to get some 6-point weeks where Josh Allen runs for 2, Latavius Murray or whoever runs for the other one, and James Cook has a bad week. Or do they potentially bring in somebody else even better than Latavius or Fournette or whoever it might be, and this goes even more sideways?
It's interesting to see them use like Latavius and Ty Johnson in key spots in these playoff games. It's almost like they didn't trust James Cook. It's the biggest thing for me. I think RB2 is fair. I could see how it could go sideways and maybe they bring somebody in, but this team is going to have a lot of changes, Buffalo. They are strapped against the cap. I know that they can restructure Allen, but Diggs is at $28 million. It's either traded or that's it. Like, there's nothing they could do about his cap. Von Miller's at $24 million. They can only save 7 by cutting him. This is going to be a much different team. I think their defense is going to lack some depth. But as for Cook himself, I think you just nailed it. Like, he's a fine player. You can tell me that he's going to get 20 touches a game, and I'm going to say, great. He's going to be a low-end RB1, a solid RB2. How many rushing touchdowns is he going to have? Because he had 2 rushing touchdowns. He had 1 in week 4. He had 1 in week 15 against Dallas, where they really unleashed him in that game. 25 carries, 179 yards. That's roughly when Joe Brady took over and changed this offense. Is Joe Brady the OC? Is he taking head coaching jobs elsewhere? Because he did a heck of a job down the stretch and kind of turned this offense around. But Josh Allen is the guy there, man. Like, this guy, like you said, he's literally scoring a rushing touchdown every game. Every game near the goal line. They do the tush-push thing just as well as Philadelphia. Nobody talks about that. They always go to the left. He always gets it.
Well, when did the running back next to Cam Newton do well? When it was Christian McCaffrey or it was just one person? Like, once you involve anybody else, that's it. You're done. You're done.
Yeah. I just feel like the fantasy community is going to get a little bit too excited about him where I may have to pass. Like,
I don't want to
draft him. They were. I saw some people saying top 10. At the end of the day, if he had that kind of usage in the second half, like, sure, he would have been an RB1. But I'm not going to draft him as
inconsistent. Because I also remember watching that game for some bets on James Cook and being like, this Ty Johnson nonsense needs to stop. Like, could we take him out of the damn game? Wow. James Cook right now. on way too early rankings is hovering right now at RB13, sandwiched between Kenneth Walker and Josh Jacobs. And if Josh Jacobs is back with Antonio Pierce, this is like probably like 7 spots too low. Let's see.
Right.
James Cook. Nope, we'll play this toss-up, Lauren. We'll start with you. Come back to Meaney. James Cook or Josh Jacobs, not knowing where Jacobs is right now. We don't know where he is.
Josh Jacobs.
Meaney?
That's the right call.
I would take this, not knowing this team. Alvin Kamara or James Cook?
Oof. I'm going to go. I'm going to jump in here first, Meaney. Sorry, because I'm selfish.
You're supposed
I'm going to go James Cook.
I'm with you. I'm with you on James Cook. Yeah, it's really close. I would say they're in the correct tier. I'm giving me the younger running back as opposed to Alvin Kamara. That's kind of where I lean.
Kamara's only going to be 29.
I know, it's crazy. It seems like you've been in the league forever. But it's the same kind of deal. Like, is Taysom Hill still there? Jamal Williams? Like, I don't know. There could be some changes.
I can't believe you just brought up Taysom Hill and like, you're not wrong. But
we're talking about rushing touchdowns. But yeah, I mean, Kamara has a higher ceiling. But
I'm just bringing it up since when Kamara came back, 15.1 fantasy points per game, James Cook 12.2. Even if you want to drop down to James Cook bye, and then because after that's when things changed. So did James Cook get 12.2 or 14.2? It was 14.9. So there you get it neck and neck. That's the thing is, do you get it? But even so, that was 22.6, 35.1, 5, 4.9, 6.7. I'm taking Alvin Kamara. There's no question in my mind on that one. So, all right, right behind him. What about Ramondre Stevenson? I don't think, or would you guys both take James Cook versus Stevenson? That offense is a mess.
Yeah.
I am.
I mean, Belichick's gone, so they could,
Belichick's gone. Zeke is probably gone. It's his backfield. But again, I don't really want a running back on the worst offense in football, and that's probably what they're going to be again.
David Montgomery.
Arguably.
Joe Mixon could be gone. Tony Pollard, because we need to talk about him next. Do you say Tony Pollard or look at this?
I would at this moment. I would go Cook. He's shown me that he's a better runner than Tony Pollard. He's had games with 20+ touches on the ground. Pollard doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's. I love how you and I, Chris Meaney, both made the same face. Like it was the same. I'm gonna go James Cook over Tony Pollard. I think what he showed on the ground was excellent. He meaning James Cook. I also really liked what James Cook did through the air. He has some really amazing catches, and I think that they're hopefully will incorporate him in the passing game even more next year, which would be very fun to see. I just don't think that Tony Pollard has that kind of versatility that James Cook has. So I'm going to go James Cook over Tony Pollard as well. I have no faith in Tony Pollard at all. So I'm going to be passing on him completely.
When we did our award stuff, did we even say Pollard was like a bust? Like this guy was a significant bust.
That's true. We forgot about him.
He's a bigger bust than
Bijan Kelsey.
Look at these games. My goodness. 2 games of 20 carries. Down the stretch, week 15, 16, and 17, 6 points, 4 points, and 5 points. He started off the season with that big 2-touchdown game against the Giants. It was mostly because the defense put him in situations to score. This guy had 6 rushing touchdowns. And
okay, well, here's
they all came in 4
I'll
games.
Phrase it a different way.
Wasn't good at all.
So I can see you're like the projections, at least my projections. I was actually conservative. Let's go back to the preseason. I was a conservative Tony Pollard ranker and projector. Projector? Yeah, that's right. Like, do I need to make the sound? Like, that's me doing the little projector noise. Anyway, I had him about 1,500 yards. He fell short of that by 200. Here's the biggest thing. He fell short of my projections by almost 60 points. Why? Because I had him for 11 rushing touchdowns and 3 receiving. He had 6 and 0. That was the biggest problem. It's like, and why I say, like, let's take a different spin at it is like, not just the projections, not just what. The biggest thing is just watching games. And now I would say objectively, but it really is subjective because you can't say definitively. But I think everybody here would subjectively agree. Dowdle looked better at times, especially down the stretch. Rico Dowdle was not supposed to be. The reason Tony Pollard was projected for 1,500 yards and 14 touchdowns is because the backfield was his. Zeke wasn't there. Rico Dowdle is an afterthought. Deuce Vaughn wasn't even used this year. It was supposed to be his backfield, and he got outplayed at times by Dowdle. So I think that's the biggest way to look at it is to say that's why Tony Pollard was a massive disappointment, and that's why he missed his projections. By the way, do you want to know real quickly, Meaney? I want you to guess because this actually ties in a little bit to somebody that used to be on your team and had like a special heart place for it. And here's a big hint, Lauren. hates. What do you think was the biggest backfield miss this year? It wasn't Tony Pollard.
Miles Sanders, Carolina.
It was the Panthers backfield.
I
Meanwhile,
saw he posted on Instagram just a picture of him on the sidelines, and the caption was just like, "I'm pissed off." Rough go, man. Rough go.
it was okay. You remember the beginning of the year, though. The beginning of the year was like, oh my God, he's
It was
catching
great
passes.
until he
this
got
is
hurt.
gonna be fun. We're finally gonna get. And then he got hurt, and there was nothing. So by the way, real quickly, I just toot my own horn on this one. The Lions backfield, I missed by 7 points on Montgomery and 0.3 on Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I nailed the Lions backfield. Panthers backfield, a whole nother story. They're completely sideways on that one.
Yeah, and Gibbs really came on strong at the end of the season, and Montgomery was probably got you to the dance, football
Probably.
playoffs.
You know what else got you there? You know who the biggest miss was in the projections this year? Each of you guess. Who's the biggest miss? Biggest running back miss, Meaney.
Somebody that just didn't get hurt.
No, well, yes. I was gonna say, you said didn't. I thought you were gonna say didn't get projections. This running back smashed his projections. Oh, I thought Lauren was gonna have the answer. Come on, late round running back, stayed healthy for the first time.
Mostert.
In a long time. There you go. Raheem Mostert.
Sorry, I'm on a lot of cold medicine, so
I don't care.
those out of the air ones I won't know.
Out of the air ones.
Nope, to me that's it. Off in left field. I sound like I'm sick. I can hear like I'm underwater. So
What?
It's a fun day. I'm here though for y'all because I love you.
Well, then, Meaney, you brought up this name in the conversation about the Bills. Is Stephon Diggs' time as a wide receiver 1 done? That's the question.
Man, Ratcliffe had him like wide receiver 25 in his way too early rankings. This was like 3 weeks ago, and I was like, whoa. That may be a little bit of an overreaction. But I don't think it is. No, I don't think it is. It's interesting. They used him much differently down the stretch of the season. His ADOT was a lot shorter. I know everybody saw the 60-yard bomb that he dropped, but he wasn't getting shots deep down the field. His targets were like behind the line of scrimmage, at the line of scrimmage. Again, they changed this offense. It's almost like they just scaled back from Josh Allen. Like, we're not going to have you just chucking the ball all over the field, deep down the field. His targets, almost double of Shakir, but the yardage was basically the same as Shakir over the past few weeks of the season. So I think there's definitely reasons to be concerned. I think if you're a Diggs owner in Dynasty, you may even just want him on a new squad, a fresh new start somewhere else. But I just don't know if that's going to be the case if Buffalo decides to just move on from him, because they need something there to help Josh Allen. They actually need more wide receiver depth because Gabe Davis is not going to be there. Get ready for it, Jake. Gabe Davis is going to go to the Giants with Dayball, man. It's going to happen. Just get ready for that. Another boomer bust wide receiver for you there in New York. But top 10 days over. Just don't think that the volume is going to be there. But at the same time, if he falls down to the Mike Evans range of like you're getting this guy in the 7th round, I'll be intrigued.
7th, sure, because here you go, Lauren and Meaney, because you're talking about that. Gabe Davis, from week 10 on, more fantasy points per game than Stephon Diggs, 7.5 to 6.8.
Crazy. That guy was either getting 0 or 20.
6.8 puts him in the wide receiver 4 conversation behind Adam Thielen, Curtis Samuel, Gabe Davis, Noah effing Brown, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Odell Beckham, Elijah Moore. These are all Christian Kirk, when he got hurt. Like, he got hurt on that 4th game at 3.1 and still had more fantasy points per game. Demario Douglas had more fantasy points per game. The player you hate, Meaney, had more fantasy points per game than Stephon Diggs. Lauren, is Jeff Ratcliffe at wide receiver 25 actually right? I'll phrase it that way.
I agree. I actually just talked about this on RotoWire SiriusXM last night. I am passing on Stephon Diggs. I am passing on Gabe Davis, who I'm not going to pass on, as Khalil Shakir. We've been high on that player for a while. But yeah, I don't know if there's some beef going on that they're denying, but actually is. I don't know. But whatever it is, I think that at least for this year, next year, his wide receiver 1 alpha status has been revoked.
Yeah, it has. But like those names that you all just mentioned, like, give me Diggs over those guys.
Well,
Like,
over those
again, if he
guys,
falls to the 7th round, like it's crazy. I wish that I was more in on Mike Evans in the 7th round. I can't believe that in hindsight. Like that was the biggest gift in fantasy football this year. That you were able to get him because
fine.
everyone overreacted
toss
that
up.
Baker and Trask couldn't throw the football in practice. And that's what happened. Where if Diggs is going to fall to the 7th, I don't even know if he's going to fall that far. But if he's a wide receiver 25 for consensus, then probably he is a 6th round pick. I'd be willing to roll the dice on Diggs as my wide receiver 3 in the 6th round if he is still a member of the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen is the quarterback.
I don't think he's going to fall that far though, because
I don't think he will either,
that's exactly what I was going to say. If
So-
Stephon Diggs does fall there, I'm passing on him where he went last year or close to where he went last year. I
Easily.
should have been a little bit more clear on
Well,
that.
yeah.
But if he falls down drafts this coming draft season, then yeah, I'm willing to roll the dice. But I'm not drafting him as my wide receiver 1 or my wide receiver 2.
No, but here's what we could do. We could actually see if we match up with Jeff Ratcliffe. This wasn't planned for today, but we can have some fun with it. And you know what we could do, Meaney, to see if you want to get him as a wide receiver 3 or not? You know, there is something we can do.
There is a way, but I don't know. What can we do?
I don't know
Jake?
either.
I know Lauren can't because she's sick, so she doesn't know the way, but we can make a list.
Yes.
Because I knew you
Thank
want to be
you.
able to pull that off. All right. I'm
Coughing
just
for
going to
you.
go. So I'm using consensus ranks. I'm going to go until you say stop. Either one of you. You can tell me stop because I'm just going to run down. And I don't think we're going to get the word stop from either one of you for a while here. So Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb. Now stop when you would say you would take Diggs instead. Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson, Chase, St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Nakua, DJ Moore, Ayuk, Debo, Devontae Adams, Chris Olave, Nico Collins, Pittman, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Jalen Waddle, DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper.
Stop.
Okay, Amari Cooper?
Yep.
You said stop. Meaney went,
I
think you
I
got
thought
the
about
ST
it.
out.
I thought about it, but you need to keep going for me.
Even with Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying,
keep going.
Amari Cooper was great
Specifically
with Joe
because
Flacco.
of Deshaun Watson.
Like, that's a... All right, so that's a toss-up one. Rasheed
Yeah.
Rice?
I want Rice more. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Hell
Same.
yeah.
Tank Dell coming off an injury?
I want Tank Dell.
Lauren?
Agreed.
Cooper Kupp?
Give me another year, Cooper Kupp, Stafford quarterback. Yeah, Cooper Kupp.
Meanie's boy, Devonta Smith?
Devontae, yeah, for sure.
Devonta Smith, Lauren?
Yeah.
T. Higgins?
Fine. This guy was good.
T. Higgins,
Come on.
Bengals or otherwise. You have to factor in we don't know that he's necessarily back with the Bengals.
I'll take Diggs.
I'll take T. Higgins.
I would too. Because he could actually end up on a team where he's the number 1. Unless he ends up with New England. Then we're like, oh, screw that.
If he goes to
thank you.
Tennessee with Brian Callahan, I don't know about that. But
Hopkins is still there. How about Zay Flowers?
yeah, give me the young, exciting Zay Flowers. Let's go.
I'll take
Come
Diggs.
on.
I guess I'm higher on Diggs than I thought it was.
Okay. Calvin
good
Ridley.
exercise.
Your boy, Lauren. Calvin Ridley. Christian Kirk. Calvin Ridley. Big potential. Like they might not be teammates next year.
I'll take Calvin Ridley, actually. This was his first year back. I'm gonna go Calvin Ridley over Stephon Diggs.
Meaney?
God, I can't believe I'm saying that.
I know. I'll take Diggs there. I feel like this is the range, but this is a good exercise. Like he may
Yeah,
well
it is.
fall to the
Sauce
6th or
Gardner
7th
wants
round.
Ridley with the Jets. He can
Yeah.
next to
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson. Could be intriguing with Aaron Rodgers.
It really
Drake
could be.
London. Arthur Smith is gone.
But who's quarterbacking?
I mean, sure.
It's
So
very important.
Diggs over
If it's
London?
Kirk Cousins, then it's London all day. But if it's Desmond Ridder under center, I don't care who the OC is.
Oh, yes.
I will
Drake
take
London
Diggs.
would be a wide receiver 1 conversation with Kirk Cousins.
Oh man, I may have to pass because everyone would just get too nuts. You just go in the second round everywhere.
You
I'm
go
so
bananas. All right, a few more. How about Jaden Reed? Because let's talk the Packers too. But Jaden Reed or Stephen Diggs, Lauren? And Meaney.
Diggs.
I'll take Diggs there too. Yeah. As much as I'm excited about this Green Bay offense and the step forward that they took this year with all the rookies and sophomores, like there's still a lot of different moving pieces there.
Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, Jaden Reed. I mean, there's a lot going on there.
Two solid
Okay,
tight ends.
last one.
Man.
Last one, and we're going to come back to the Packers. But would you go George Pickens or Stefon Diggs?
I'll go with Diggs too. Like the quarterback play is huge for me. Once we get into these guys, like I like Pickens maybe more at this point, like from a dynasty standpoint. I would probably rather have Pickens moving forward, but who's the quarterback? It's very important to me. You need to have a quarterback who can move the football.
Here's the answer.
Yeah, that debate is still up.
There's no debate in the fact that Jeff Ratcliffe, according to you guys and myself included, because I broke the tie on 2 of them, but no, he's not just right, Meaney. He's too high on Diggs.
He's too
because
high.
You guys
That's
got
funny.
27.
Oh my word.
27.
So where's this guy going? Like, let's guess. Where does Diggs go? If everything is just the same, where it's Allen, Diggs is there. I really do feel like Buffalo is going to draft a wide receiver, but I don't think it's going to be in the first couple of rounds. Where do you guys think Diggs goes in drafts? Is he actually going to be a 6th round pick?
He's not going to fall that far. There's no way.
No.
He'll
And that's
fall,
what I'm afraid of. That's why I'm going to pass on Diggs, is because he's just not going to fall that far.
4th round.
4th round
He'll
pick.
be-
Are you comfortable with him as a 4th round pick?
No.
No. All right. Yeah. What about in Dynasty? Do we sell this guy, or is it a time to buy low because
Too late.
Exactly. Too late, but
I know. I think I may, as much as I don't love him, I may just try to like lowball somebody in the summer. Like, man, Diggs is no good.
Oh yeah, you can get him at a discount right now for sure.
Yeah.
That's why you can't sell right now, unless you potentially have somebody when you're selling and they're like, "Oh, you don't know what you're doing. You're selling too low," and actually think that they're getting a deal. And then if you get fringe wide receiver 1 value, there you go. You can turn it that way. All right, but we were talking about the Packers pecking order as of today. Would you agree or disagree, Meaney? As of today, this is the pecking order for the Packers wide receivers. Jaden Reed, number 1. Romeo Doubs, number 2. Christian Watson, number 3. Bill Melton, number 4.
Yep.
Christian Watson being the 3. You're okay with that pecking order as of today?
I am. I'm not going to fall for it again. Not going to be 3 years in a row. Watson's going to finish as a wide receiver 2 ahead of all those guys.
But you get Watson at
the
11th round next year.
I know. I'll have flyers. I'm not crazy, but you're not going to have, it's not going to be expensive this year. I still believe in the talent, man, but he's got to stay on the field. The other guys are staying on the field, and I agree with the order 100%. I wouldn't change it.
Lauren, would you agree with that order?
Yeah, I kind of want to do Romeo Doubs as the first one. But yeah, I'm gonna have to. But I don't know. Romeo Doubs has turned into a bit of a security blanket for Jordan Love, and I really like that he got good looks in the end zone and in the red zone.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Romeo Doubs, wide receiver 1, Jaden Reed, wide receiver 2, and Christian Watson, number 3, Bo Melton, number 4. I'm gonna switch the top 2.
Okay, then let's also talk Jordan Love and the fact of, is he a QB1 for next year, Meaney? Was this finish strong enough for you to say you're confident? Because if you're saying that, we're saying the middle of the season was a blip. The middle of the season was actually the anomaly for what Jordan Love should be. Because if you include the middle of the season, you have to. We're still talking about a mid-high, more on the high-end side, but a mid-high QB2. But if you just take that finish, obviously he was QB1, the QB1 for a few weeks there. So are you saying QB1 for next year as in the tier top 10? How far would you go with Jordan Love?
Yeah, top 10 is bullish because, I mean, you're including Burrow and Dak into that range and Purdy. And then you already have like the alphas up in the top 5 or 6. So I think top 10 is fine. I do believe in what we saw. I mean, even the start of the season when I felt like he was making some mistakes and he didn't have a lot of his weapons. Like Jaden Reed didn't come on until midway towards the end of the last season. It's almost like they just kind of, it's crazy how it went, like Dobbs and then maybe Musgrave and then Reed or Watson, then Reed. Like none of them stepped up together at the same time. It was just like one. Can you imagine if it was like just 2 of the 4 were healthy? And then what's the ceiling for Jordan Love then? Like maybe it's even higher than top 10. So I'm in. He still is. I still treated him as a rookie. You could see the throw that he made with the game on the line across his body is a clear, inexperienced throw. He's going to learn from things. The entire offense, was very inexperienced. The age group was 25, was like the youngest team in football. I liked some of the things that Matt LaFleur did. So I'm in, man. I'm in. I think they got a really good one again in Green Bay. They just do that.
Lauren.
Yeah, I'm in as well. He only had 2 games this season with single digit fantasy points. I really like his floor that he showed us this season, even when he struggled a little bit. I mean, from what I'm seeing right now, aside from the 2 single digit fantasy points, which were 8 and then 9.9, we had a 15.6, 13.8, 17.5. Those aren't awesome, but they are very serviceable. But his ceiling was excellent. 28.4 in week 17, 20.3 week 2, 23 week 1, 25.3 week 4. I mean, I'm sorry, 19.6 week 4. These are beautiful numbers. I'm very excited about Jordan Love, and I was excited about him going into the season as well. And I'm just even more excited about him in 2024. I'm all in. I like him.
And Jake, just to jump in here for a second, they didn't have a run game either, really, all year, right? Until the end of the season. Maybe that helps them out a little bit if they can have Aaron Jones healthy. I think he had more rushing touchdowns in the playoffs than he did all regular season. So he just really wasn't there for them in the first, 15 weeks of the season.
So then I have a follow-up to this, because do you guys want to take a stab at this? Throwing out Joe Flacco, because Joe Flacco is not going to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns next year, although you have to assume somebody's going to give him an open competition into camp. Hell, you talk no quarterback. Joe Flacco holdover for the Falcons?
Hell yeah.
Drake London and Kyle Pitts?
Hell yeah.
You talking about the target volume for those two? Wide receiver one
awesome.
and tight end one. Like so, yeah. Holy crap. Put Joe Flacco on the Falcons. That'd be a hell of a lot of fun. That being said, throwing out Joe Flacco, what's your guys' guess from the season, the entire season, so including the dip for Jordan Love? Where was Jordan Love in points per game, Meaney, for quarterbacks?
I'd say he was probably at 10.
Lauren?
Say that one more time, because that seems awfully low.
What does seem
fantasy
awfully
points
low?
per game?
Fantasy points per game
for Jordan
the
Love?
season. Yes, for Jordan Love for the season. Where
I'm gonna
was
say
he
like
in
19.
points per game? 19?
Are we talking like an
19?
average or?
For the entire season, yeah, points per game for the entire season. Jordan Love.
I'll go with 15 then.
Okay, you're still way too low. You're both actually way too low. So not including week 18, because we don't play week 18. He's actually QB 5. 5.
I knew he finished around there, but I thought some guys were ahead of him, maybe in points per game.
Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Dak Prescott were the only ones with more points per game from weeks 1
Yeah, so I
through
said
17.
19.
But
19
you were way off. Oh, you're guessing the number that he had.
Yeah.
You're guessing the ranking that he finished.
Yeah, no, like fantasy points per game.
Yeah, the ranking.
That's why I was really confused. I was like, I think it's like high. He finished as a QB1, and I'm pretty sure he's top 5. So I'm going to guess right around 19.
You're on a lot
19
of meds.
fantasy points. I'm sorry, not the ranking. I told you, cold medicine. It is awesome.
Yes. Yeah. So you actually weren't far off. 19.5 in that range from weeks 1 through 17. So there you go. So this is where I'm bringing this up to. This is where I'm going with it. So behind him, this is behind him by a full point per game, 1.1 points per game. Nobody is doing this, but he's ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Nobody's drafting Jordan Love over Patrick Mahomes next year. However, some of the names you could draft him in front of, Justin Herbert, I would do in a heartbeat. I don't know why people keep going down.
Yes.
People want to put Justin Herbert in the Hall of Fame. Like, I don't know if it's the hair, whatever it is, but let's chill out. That team's going to be a completely
have that
different
magical.
message.
I have the mystique. I can't separate myself, but I will draft Jordan Love over.
It's the hair. It's the hair.
Brock Purdy, he's better than Brock Purdy in points per
Yes.
game. Would you guys draft Jordan Love or Brock Purdy right now, next
Yes.
year? You're on the clock.
Yes.
Jordan Love for Lauren, Meaney?
Smash draft.
I wouldn't. But they're in the same tier for me. They're the exact same, in my opinion.
Maybe
but I would
we
pick
have
Purdy
4
and the
or
better
5
offense.
months to get you over to the right side on Jordan Love. We can see if we can do that.
Yeah, once Purdy looks like
we should
ass again
do
this
this way.
weekend, then maybe I'll be on it.
So here's 2 more. Let's throw the toss up. Justin Fields. He was ahead of Justin Fields in points per game. Would you take Jordan Love or Justin Fields as of today, Meaney?
I would probably take Fields and the rushing floor. I dig that. I like that, the rushing floor.
You digs that?
I digs
Would you
it.
take Justin Fields or Jordan Love, Lauren?
I am gonna go Jordan Love, and I love Justin Fields. There's lots of loves in there.
Clearly not.
I just don't like that offense for the Bears and what they're doing with him. I really like both these quarterbacks, but
I'm
think
fully
I'm going with Jordan
convinced that he's going to be on a new team now.
And that's the thing. I think he will be on a new team, but as of right now, he is a Chicago Bear. So I like Jordan Love better
Or
than
if he's an
Justin
Atlanta
Fields,
Falcon.
the starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
Oh man.
Justin Fields, Atlanta Falcon. Does that even change your mindset? No.
How? Oh, like in my mindset, if it was
Better- like
Justin
better
Fields
or
to the
worse?
Falcons,
Yeah.
I would go Justin Fields over Jordan Love then. Yes.
I think it would be better just like
Who's the coach? Is it
given the
Belichick?
weapons.
There's lots of moving pieces.
Belichick might pull his hair out in that kind of. I don't know if that would be a fit, honestly.
I know it would
Yeah,
be
I don't know
a
either.
divorce
He'd be
waiting
the
to happen.
angriest coach in all of the NFL. All right.
Yeah.
Then last one, Jordan Love or Kirk Cousins with the Vikings or Falcons. Well, just those are
Jordan
the only
Love.
two options. Jordan Love, Meaney. Kirk Cousins
Yeah.
was on his heels in points per game, by the way, 19.5
I
to
know.
19.3.
Cousins
Cousins
always
keeps
gets
doing this every
so
single
much
year.
disrespect.
Kirk Cousins,
I know.
Kirk Cousins is the QB1 to draft every single year because you get him at the end of drafts for free,
100%.
and nobody ever wants him. Okay, actually, no, there is one more. If you have to pick the ascension of a true rookie and was essentially a 3-year redshirt rookie, would you take C.J. Stroud or Jordan Love as of today, Meaney?
Oh baby. I gotta take CJ Stroud. Man.
Yes.
Really?
I mean,
Sorry, that was very loud, but yes.
I
CJ
think
Stroud.
same
wait,
tier
wait,
again.
why? Why? Explain it to me. Why?
Why would I take Stroud over Love?
Yeah, you know I love C.J. Stroud, but Jordan Love was a full point per game better with what we just sat here and said, arguably a worse situation passing-wise. Like, I know we lost Tank Dell for C.J. Stroud, but even with Tank Dell, 20, 20, 20, those 3 games were great, but down to 14, hasn't lost Tank yet, 15, 12.9, then the 40, then the 20, then the 30, then the 3, then the 3 he got hurt, 16, 13. Like, it's this versus...
Where were those guys in points per game? Was he just a touch behind him?
A full point. You missed that too. Neither of you
point.
listened
Okay,
to
yeah.
me 100% today.
Yeah.
I
I'm
heard
also
that
on the
this time.
meds.
I know, you both are sick. What the hell?
We're on meds. This is team meds.
I'm glad
over
we're
here.
doing this like over video and not actually in
What
person.
is happening?
It's just me like
I-
infecting an entire
I guess
room.
I'm excited about the unknown. Mask up. I'm excited about the unknown. I'm excited about a full season with Tank Dell. Like, he was just a rookie as well, and there were some highs and lows from him. Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's a very tough decision for me. But I think that there's room for both of these guys to take their game to another level. But yeah, I'm gonna lean slightly with CJ Stroud, and just exciting to me to have a full season with Tank.
I would actually like
and
put it this way.
Nico.
I would actually like CJ Stroud more if Slowick is gone. Like,
Yeah.
somebody go take Slowick, please. Run, pass. Thank you, Giants offense for the last 15 years. That's what they're doing. Like, CJ Stroud could have been better if this jabroni didn't stop running. Well, I don't know if this is the third time I said jabroni.
They
today.
just
Like, stop
ran
running the
into
ball
the
so much.
Oh my goodness, it was really tough to watch them how they played Baltimore. They just ran into the they just ran into the line on second down for no gain the entire time. Like, again,
So
I think Mahomes may chuck the ball 50 times in this game against the Ravens because you just can't run.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about the future of this Texan squad. So I love
There you go.
CJ
You guys don't
Stroud.
have hats.
And
Go buy hats.
let me
board.
be very clear on this. I would be thrilled to have either one of these two quarterbacks between CJ Stroud and Jordan Love. So let me just make that clear. But I am a touch more excited about CJ Stroud because this is true rookie. He is coming in the second year. He got into the playoffs with a team that was terrible. And he made that happen. He's going to have a healthy Tank Dell. He's going to have healthy Nico Collins, hopefully. And they're going to sort out this offensive scheming, I hope, during the offseason. But he just proved something very intangible to me that I believe in.
Playing a trick on somebody. This offense is scheming. Like,
Seems to be some really good options. There always is. We always talk
I was like
about
the most excited I'm going to get the whole day. Now I'm tired and need a nap.
maybe waiting it out at the quarterback position or grabbing the first couple tiers. You know, there certainly is an advantage to have those elite quarterbacks.
I would say
but
who's the next Sam Howell, but it's just Kirk Cousins again next year because
just Kirk
right.
Kirk Cousins.
But there's going to be some
Especially
really
from
good
off injury.
options in the middle rounds of your drafts towards the end for these quarterbacks that we're talking about, like that have made that leap forward, like CJ Stroud, like Love, like Purdy. Like, these are guys that were drafted as quarterback 25, 26, 27, 28 last year. And now we're talking about them as, you know, middle to the end of your draft. I mean, Anthony Richardson's another guy. Where does this guy fall in? Is he top 10? Like, everybody can't be top 10. There's going to be some really good options for people to
Would you
wait
take
out.
Anthony Richardson or Jordan Love?
I think I take Jordan Love, but
I would actually
I'll take Jordan Love, but I may come to regret it. Oh man,
Here's the
I'm
thing.
excited
What
about that
Richardson
guy
did,
next
and
year.
Richardson would have been a top 10 quarterback easily if he finished
easily.
it this
Well,
season.
that's the thing. I'm shooting for who, like Lamar Jackson was number 2 this year. Can Anthony Richardson put up a Lamar Jackson season? Actually, yes. Like he has that rushing upside. So I'm going to shoot for that versus the quarterback that what we actually talked about last week, or was it the Sirius XM show? Whatever it was, Jordan Love stopped running. Like he stopped running once they got the run game that Meaney brought up. He was getting 10, 20, sometimes 30 yards, would sometimes run one in, and he just stopped at the end of the year. We're talking 1 rush attempt, -3 yards, 0 touchdowns. So like, I'm just going to go for the rushing upside. You brought up the conversation Meaney about Fields before, and that's why you went with Fields. And I have no problem going Fields, not even knowing the team he's on. But I'm going to actually go Richardson just because, again, I miss on Anthony Richardson, assuming they're similar draft costs, which just seems like they should probably be as of today.
Yeah.
But I miss on Anthony Richardson. He gets hurt again. Okay, I'll go pick up Kirk Cousins or Jared Goff and play matchups, or Matthew Stafford or whatever. Just real quickly before we move on for this and get the hell out of here, because we didn't even get to that first round rankings that I promised because we spiraled into other conversations here. But any interest, because we're talking about young quarterbacks and all this thing, and you just brought it up to me. This is what got me thinking this. You said, who steps up next year? Who potentially? Any interest in with the overhauled coaching staff and maybe some additional weapons, question mark, maybe not even the running back, but maybe a wide receiver who can get open quickly for Bryce Young? A flyer on Bryce Young to potentially break out in year 2, post-hype, rookie?
A lot needs to change. With Carolina, I need to know who's calling plays. They need to bring in some help too. They need to have a run game. There's a lot of
Offensive
things.
line.
Yeah, I'm not ready to say that this guy is going to be a bust, Bryce Young, but I didn't love what I saw. And a lot of it was the play calling. The guys aren't getting separation. I wonder. I don't know, man. I wonder if we can even see over the offensive line. I don't know. I think it's going to be bad. I know. I felt weird saying it. I feel gross saying it. But they do need some help.
Bryce Young or Will Levis?
I would take Will Levis.
Really? I would take Bryce Young. I was just on the ceiling.
Neither.
Hey, and we're not going to get into this on another day, we may, but Brian Callahan is the real deal. I love that hire. Look what he did to Jake Browning. With Jake Browning, they definitely switched their offense when Joe Burrow they changed it up, and that's credit to Jake Browning.
But that's another one. I need to see more than DeAndre Hopkins to
Brian
throw
Callahan.
to.
Absolutely.
And Traylon Burks.
Maybe it's Higgins. Right. They need somebody else. I'll be excited about how they use Spears. It's going to be a very different offense. It's not going to be the same. Let's, hand it off 30 plus times on the ground. It's going to be a very different offense. I think that Bryce Young has a higher ceiling as a football player. But from a fantasy standpoint, at this moment, I think I like the weapons that Will Levis has and the play caller that he's going to have a lot more.
Well, hopefully you like our conversation today, and because we are going to continue it. Similar stuff on Sirius XM on Saturday as we break down a little bit more. We didn't even get to that part today. So there we go. Save it for the Sirius XM show. Now you have to tune in and wake up early on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern, or you can just listen on demand. You don't have to wake up early. But we will talk the divisional recap and conference outlook and finish up talking some Super Bowl stuff. Way too early rankings, what went right and wrong in 2023, how it applies to 2024, and more at Chris Meaney, at Stepmom Lauren, and also code ALLIN 20% off over at FTN if you want to bet against Igor. Whatever you can possibly do, take you over on the goals allowed, because that dude sucks. Bum. Hate your face. We'll be back next week.
Peace.